To be like Jesus, to be like Jesus, all I ask, to be like Him, all through life's journey, from earth to glory, all I ask, to be like
Good morning. Happy to be with you once again on Motivating Monday. In the month of March, we'll be learning from our Lord Jesus to see how we can be like Him. Last week, we learned that even from His boyhood, there's just so much we can learn from Him in parenthood and also in conducting ourselves. Today, we'll learn another aspect of Jesus in Him showing an active compassion, care, and being present with people to tend to their needs. The Apostle John was a close disciple of Jesus, and he witnessed Jesus' teachings, healings, and also his compassion and love for people. In his epistle on love for brethren, he wrote, "Hereby perceive we the love of God, because he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. But whoso hath these words good, and seeth his brother have need, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him? My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth." 1 John 3:16-18. John would have witnessed so many things which Jesus did that testified of Jesus' love and compassion. Now, Jesus did not love in word nor in tongue, but he loved in deed and in truth. And Jesus demonstrated his love and compassion for people through the things that he did. One of the passages that touched me was what John recorded in John 19:26-27. And John wrote, "When Jesus therefore saw his mother and the disciples standing by whom he loved, he said unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. And said he to the disciple, Behold thy mother. And from that hour, that disciple took her into his own home." Jesus had been scourged, mocked at, and had a crown of thorns placed on his head. He was hanging on the cross and suffering and in great pain and agony. But yet, he had such great care and concern for his mother. He entrusted her into the care of his disciple John, as he will no longer be around. Even at his impending death on the cross, Jesus thought about his mother. He was concerned about her welfare, and the care that she will require. He was indeed that obedient son from his boyhood as recorded by Luke. This love and care of Jesus went beyond just for his mother. Prior to this, Luke recorded in Luke 23:34 that Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Jesus cared enough for his enemies and those who were reviling him and putting him to death on the cross. He was indeed practicing what he preached about caring for and loving one's enemies. He prayed for them. And it is so difficult for us sometimes, but for Jesus, he still did it no matter what. As I read through the gospel accounts on the life of Christ, one thing that can be noted is that Christ had great compassion on the people, and he was there for them. He was physically present and with people to tend to their needs and to help them. Jesus was with Peter and his mother-in-law when he healed her of her fever. He was there when he raised Jairus' daughter from the dead. And also he was there when he raised Lazarus. He was there also when he spent time with the woman of Samaria at the well, and when he spoke with her. He also continued spending 2 days with the people when they came to him. Jesus had compassion of the people, and he provided for the needs when he fed the 5,000 and 4,000. And so in many of the instances, Jesus was physically present. This is something which we definitely can learn from Jesus, to be physically present to comfort people and to tend to their needs. Recalling earlier what I mentioned, that John wrote in exhorting brethren in 1 John 3:18, "My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth." Like how Jesus loved us through practicing it in whatever he does, it is also necessary to love for us, to love in deed and in truth. Through what Jesus did, we really know of his great love for us and also God's great love for us. Jesus went to the cross in obedience to God the Father. At the cross, he suffered. At the cross, he bled and he died. Now, blood from death must be shed for the atoning of sin. And this was done in the Old Testament, where animals were killed to be sacrificed. But this sacrifice by Christ was the ultimate in that sense. In Hebrews 9:11-14, the Hebrew writer wrote, "But Christ, being come and high priest of good things to come, by a greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us. For if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of an heifer sprinkling the unclean sanctifieth to the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God?" This was the love of Christ for God the Father, and his love also for mankind that was put into action, whereby Christ was obedient all the way unto the point of death on the cross, with his blood being shed. As I reflect back on the cross, as I reflect back on Christ's love and God's love, I also think of the many brethren who strive to be like Jesus in what they do, in terms of them showing love, care, and concern to brethren, and demonstrating such acts or such love, care, and concern through actions and deeds. And these brethren are physically around to render their aid and to show support and tend to the needs of those who need them. I'm so thankful to God and brethren, for my family and I have been recipients of such love before, and we continue to be recipients of such love. I was able to have brethren to be with my son and to take care of him, even though back then he was only 20 months old. And this was done so that I could go into the labor ward and be with my wife as she delivered our second child. It was just so comforting and assuring and encouraging for my wife and I when brethren were around to help us. And that enabled us to be worry-free in that sense. It is indeed a blessing to be in God's family. And as Jesus went around being with people and tending to their needs, we need to do so also. Will there be sacrifices in doing so? Well, of course, definitely there will be. Time and effort will have to be sacrificed and spent in caring and tending to the needs of others. Sometimes, even financial resources will have to be sacrificed. Jesus sacrificed his time, food, and rest in order to be with people. When he was supposed to rest, and his disciples asked him to send the multitudes away, yet he held them back and he had compassion on the people when he saw them, and instead he told his disciples to feed them. These were the 5,000 and 4,000 men, excluding the women and children that were not recorded for us in scriptures. Jesus sacrificed much, even to the extent of giving his life for mankind. What a great demonstration of love that is. As we reflect and ponder over the course of the week, let us continue to strive to be like Jesus. Let us consider how we can be physically present with those who are in need, that we can be a source of encouragement to them and also a great source of comfort to them. Have a good week ahead. See you